Hi, I'm Drew Gooden, and this is the WIRED Autocomplete Interview. It's worth pointing out that there's another Drew Gooden, arguably more famous than me. He played in the NBA for, I think, like 15 years. Does Drew Gooden? Yes. Did Drew Gooden create YouTube? So a lot of people assume that this is a joke, because one time I had this like throwaway line in a video where I was like, I invented YouTube, I made it myself. I was just kind of hammering away on my computer one day, and all of a sudden I had a website, and it's awesome. You should check it out, youtube.com. There's lots of videos on there, they're awesome. Did Drew Gooden do it for the Vine? Vine was an app, much like TikTok. People made 6-second videos. I made some for a couple years before I did YouTube. One of the popular ones on Vine, I didn't make it, was this song where someone said, do it for the Vine. I did for a little bit, but these days, no, I do it for the tube. Did Drew Gooden win a Streamy? Yes, I did. I was actually really excited about that. I did not expect to win at all. My wife and I were watching the award show, and a lot of the awards, they don't like make a big thing about it. They just kind of do this like lightning round where they go through several different awards. And that was one of them, and it was just, oh, by the way, Drew Gooden. And I was like, what? I was genuinely shocked. But yeah, I'm really proud of that. It was a cool thing, and they gave me a trophy. So I have the trophy. Not with me, but I own it. Does Drew Gooden have a podcast? No, not currently. My wife and I started a podcast with the intent of doing one episode every week, I guess forever. It was called the Little Stinker Radio Hour, and I thought we had an interesting story about our relationship because we met on Vine, and we did long distance for a bit, and we wanted to kind of offer advice too for people who are in that, because it's tough to go several months without seeing, your partner, and I think that was worth sharing. But then once we got to the second episode, we were like, all right, now what do we talk about? We made it 2 weeks, and then we stopped. All right, does Drew Gooden have a job? This is a very judgmental question. Do you have a job? Yeah. I mean, I think what I do is a job. I make time to sit and work, and I film and editing can be a lot of work too. I like doing every part of the video myself. Contrary to what maybe some of my family members might think, yeah, I work hard-ish. Sometimes. All right. How old was Drew Gooden when first Vine? My first Vine was probably 2014, and it was me filming what I thought was a really funny commercial for mayonnaise. And they're just like, if you want mayonnaise, you gotta use this brand of mayonnaise. And that was the whole Vine. So that really, set off my career trajectory from a great starting point, for sure. How did Drew Gooden and Danny Gonzalez meet? Danny and I actually met at VidCon several years ago. We had been in a short film sort of that Vine put together called Camp Unplug. We went to this camp in Wisconsin, Camp Wandawega. We shot there for a few days, and then I remember we went to VidCon, I think shortly afterwards. But Danny's awesome. He's one of the funniest people I know, and we get compared to a lot, which I find a compliment. He's super talented and funny, so if you think that we're similar, that's great. How Drew Gooden joined Team 10? Team 10 was an internet conglomerate started by Jake Paul, and he had this course you could take where you sort of learn how to be in Team 10, and I made a video about that. Well, unfortunately, I did not ever join Team 10. I did go to his live show, and I got to watch them all perform. I was in the same room as Team 10, if that counts. How did Drew Gooden spill the water? One time I was on Cody Ko's podcast, and I was nervous to be on this podcast because I was a big fan of Cody, and I didn't want to make a fool out of myself. And sure enough, I'm just sipping a bottle of water, and I set it down and just knock it over. Almost got it on like all the recording equipment. Pretty much the worst thing you could do in a situation where you're trying not to look like an idiot. Not one of my proudest moments, but that's okay. How many subscribers does Drew Gooden have? 3.3 million as of now, but the goal is 1 billion. So if you want to help that cause, go subscribe to my YouTube channel, and we should hit 1 billion subscribers pretty soon. All right, what is Drew Gooden doing now? I'm glad you asked. I'm doing the WIRED Autocomplete Interview. What camera does Drew Gooden use? Panasonic Lumix G150. That's a pretty good camera. It's good for sitting down and staying focused in one spot. Otherwise, if I move around, it's not as good of a camera because the autofocus isn't very good. So if you're sitting down and making videos, that's a good one to use. What state does Drew Gooden live in? I live in Florida, good old Florida. A lot of my friends will send me sometimes, you'll see a headline, it's like, Florida man does the most insane thing that anyone's ever done. And they're like, was this you? And I say yes, because it is usually me. What happened to Drew Gooden? I don't know. Is there something I should know about? Was there an accident I was involved in? Which Drew Gooden plays basketball? Which Drew Gooden plays basketball professionally is the other Drew Gooden, for sure. He's much taller, more athletic in pretty much every sense than me. But I do own a basketball hoop in my backyard. So technically, I would say we both play basketball. Which Drew Gooden can dunk? Not this one. Well, the fun thing about owning your own hoop is that you can set it to any height you want. So if I want to dunk, I'll bring it way down and I will dunk. Regulation size, probably not. Drew Gooden All-Star. So this is probably the other one. I'm going to explain how the NBA works because I'm kind of the authority on this. In the NBA, there's All-Star teams that you get voted into every year. So I think they're probably asking if he got voted into one of the All-Star teams. I didn't get any votes, but I do not know for certain if he didn't. When did Drew Gooden retire? Oh, I wish I could retire. If you ask my family, going back to the other questions earlier, I already did retire. As soon as I quit my real job and started doing YouTube, that was the day I retired. So if you're going off that logic, then like 2017, I retired as a 23-year-old and I don't do anything all day ever. It's the best. Why does Drew Gooden say guy? For a long time, I didn't know how to start my videos because a lot of people are like, what's up guys? Or they have like a catchphrase or a nickname for their fan base. And for a while I was calling people little stinkers and then I didn't really like that much. I sort of just started doing that and I was like, is this gonna be my thing forever? I don't know how I feel about this. But then instead of saying, hey guys, once I said, hey guy, and people seemed to think it was funny. So I've been saying it pretty much every video. Why do I say it? Because it's funny. Drew Gooden fan fiction. Oh boy. One of the videos Danny Gonzalez and I made together was about the funniest fan fiction I've ever read in my life that someone wrote about us. I think one of us married Jake Paul. I believe it was called House of Gold. That was a really funny video to make because we hadn't read the fan fiction beforehand. There were so many insane twists in it. Every time you think it couldn't get any crazier, it did. So I would recommend watching that video if you want to learn more about my fan fiction and my reaction to it. Drew Gooden, picture of a hot dog. I also have a website to show off my web design skills where the home page is a picture of a hot dog and then you can add all these different toppings to it. I've got a corn dog on there, nachos, hat. So, really just some crazy stuff on there. Drew Gooden, Christmas movie. So I've made a lot of videos about weird Christmas movies, which is pretty easy to do because I don't know if you've noticed, there are so many Christmas movies. Most of them have almost identical plots. A businesswoman moves to a small town and she meets her high school sweetheart and she realizes that business isn't everything, love is everything, and then she stays in her hometown forever. But then there's some Christmas movies where they try to do something that's never been done before, but in order to do that, because everything's been done before, you have to come up with the most insane plot. I just watched one where these mannequins came to life and were like falling in love with the people in the movie, and it was such a bizarre film. Where does Drew Gooden get his joke? I get my joke from right here. Is Drew Gooden good in? I like to think I'm good. I haven't done any crimes. Is Drew Gooden Canadian? No, I'm not. I am a Floridian and American. And you might be thinking of Curtis Connor, my friend. He's Canadian. He gets associated with me and Danny a lot. But no, I'm not Canadian. So. Is Drew Gooden a vegetarian? I like vegetables. I did a video recently where I ate like Tom Brady for a month. And I ate a lot of vegetables when I did that. but he still eats like fish, so I ate fish too. So I never went full vegetarian, but if it's something I could commit to, I'd be happy to do it, you know. Is Drew Gooden a Dolphins fan? Yes, just like the Orlando Magic, I am also a fan of the Miami Dolphins, another Florida team that is pretty bad at the sport that they play for the most part. You know, some people get to grow up and they watch their favorite team win Super Bowls and championships and playoff games and all these things, and I've never seen any of my favorite teams have success. Is Drew Gooden in Euphoria? No, I'm not in Euphoria. I'm not Zendaya either. I don't know if that's what they're asking about. I wish. She's the best, but no, I'm not. I guess what I want people to take away from the Wired Autocomplete interview is that even though me and the other Drew Gooden get our information mixed up a lot on YouTube, we're different dudes, okay? He's much taller than me.